This is the Seven Figure Agency Podcast. Discover the strategies and techniques to grow a highly successful and profitable digital marketing agency with your host, Josh Nelson.
Where we're interviewing highly successful digital marketing agencies from across the country on how they're growing their agencies, how they're landing clients, delivering world-class results, and scaling their businesses. I'm super excited to be joined today by Mandeep Bhalla from Grow Nearby. He's built a multiple seven-figure agency serving the plumbing, HVAC, and home services niche. If you're excited, you're going to want to watch this video. So, Mandeep, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me here, Josh. I'm super excited to be here.
So, for the sake of the listener that doesn't know you yet, kind of give us a high-level overview where the agency sits today. How many clients? How much revenue? Like, what's the lay of the land?
Sure. So our agency is like sitting right now between 75 to 80 clients across the country, like home service, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, garage door, now tree service. So all these like clients we have, and when it comes to MRR, we are sitting, I think, close to 185 to 190K.
So nice multiple seven-figure agency, fantastic work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Of course, we always like to hear the story, right? You didn't start there. And as I recall, a couple of years back, you were at the roadmap line, you were starting this thing. Kind of tell us a little bit about your journey over the years as you've grown the agency.
Yeah, absolutely. As I don't know if you know, I born and raised in India, came to the US in 2015 with my wife, and I was working at one of the agency as a VP of marketing. And I figured out, I have to go above and beyond to serve home service industry. And I was just I have to go all in. So right before COVID, 2020, and no one had idea about what is COVID, what's going to happen. I went all in my business, which is like Grow Nearby, and never looked back. And I was at your event that was Roadmap in March 2020. And that was a game changer for me when I joined you guys. I'm all about relationships and vibe. And I always say your vibe attracts your tribe, and that's how I attracted you, Josh, and entire your seven-figure agency family. And after that, signed up with you guys. And obviously, there are so many strategies that you can deploy to take your agency to the next level. And I've gone through with your all content, thoroughly, and started applying those strategies. And I would say the major thing was from the beginning, I'm all about relationships and producing content. And by the way, I'm a big fan of Gary Vee, and he was the one that was actually giving me boost to go all in, virtually. We never connected. I met him this year twice, but I got motivated through his content, and I was actually riding a bike in Tampa, and I was listening to his podcast, and he said that if you want to do something, do it now, flip a coin. And I had that coin. I still have that coin in my wallet. I flipped that coin, and it was tails. And I went all in my business and producing content at mass level, in the form of text, videos. You have to provide value. It doesn't have to be salesy content, right? You genuinely provide value, that you care. And I think the love that I have got from home service industry, I'm part of the events, running podcasts. By the way, you should check out Born for the Trades, the home service podcast, and just part of the community. And I think that's how we get a lot of business. Home service industries, owners, they reach out without me reaching out to them, and because we all are connected on Facebook, and that is phenomenal if you provide value, and they see that you are genuine, authentic. They're gonna reach out to you without you reaching out to them.
Excellent. So great stuff. I look forward to digging into this, kind of how you're landing, what the delivery looks like. Kind of taking one step back. Obviously, you decided to focus on home services, and you built the business in that. What made you decide home services and kind of a specialty around plumbing and HVAC?
That's a great question, Josh. So I was actually connecting dots, I think a couple of years ago, and then I figured my dad was into trades. My dad was into doors and windows business, and I was helping him with his projects. I used to go out when I was 9 years old, and I think for several years, I supported him. like completing those projects, like just being there, managing the like technicians, installers. So I think that's in my DNA.
Mm.
So I connect the dots that I am serving home service industry because of my dad, and and then I look at that. My wife and I we came to the U.S. in 2015, and I was like part of like one of the companies they were serving HVAC. But I saw a lot of value has to be given to home service industry by going above and beyond. And we started with HVAC, plumbing, and then we added electrical, and then garage door and pest control. And I think it keeps adding to this now.
So it kind of started with this experience with your dad and kind of knowing the trades and knowing the challenges that they face.
Yes.
And so when it's time to start the agency, it's like, hey, I know this industry. Let me serve them at a really high level.
Right.
So let's talk about the first couple of clients, because a lot of our listeners are just trying at that startup stability phase. Kind of put yourself back into that mode for a second. How did you land the first handful of clients in plumbing and HVAC?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I was part of that roadmap that you had it in March 2020, and I was going through with the content, like how to do like cold email, cold calling. By the way, we never did cold calling, but yes, like reached out to like potential like prospects, home service industry owners that this is like what we do, but not just like a lot. I think I reached out straight on like Facebook, and they looked at like our what we do, what we offer, and what solutions look like. So that's how we got like initially from the connections. Again, they knew me, and I think they trusted in my vision in my company, and that's how we got started. I'm still grateful. We're still working with them, and I hope you guys are watching. But I'm always grateful for the first two clients that we got.
So in your case, it wasn't just mass blast everybody you can get. It was reaching out in a very intentional way to a very specific group of ideal prospects, and forming those relationships. And kind of moved it up over time, got those clients, got some great results. Let's talk about how you're landing clients today. So if you think now you've got 70 plus clients, you've got a multiple seven-figure agency. What's working best to attract clients? Because you made a big point that you don't like doing chase, you don't like doing outbound marketing.
Right.
How are you getting the clients to come to you pre-positioned?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way that we started with like a couple of clients, and no one is like doing that, like traveling to the client like location on their dime. So we're traveling on our dime. I looked at like 3 years ago, what if I can just like go out and spend a couple of days with them, do media footage for them, and it's not about just the media. It's all about relationships. Relationships go like beyond, and obviously we can leverage that media on their website, social media. And we started with like a couple of visits, and then now every month we go out and visit at least one client a month. If they are located in like multiple clients are located in one state, so we do two, couple of them. And the media that we get for the client, beautiful. The relationship that we build, that is phenomenal. And on top of that, we get video testimonials. We don't have any script. It's all coming from our client's heart. We just put them on camera and we just ask like a few questions, and we get that video testimonial. And once we come back, we share that video testimonial with the other prospects, or they look at it on social media. And you have to make sure that you put out that content where your audience, your customer audience is there. Let's say Facebook. I've got 5,000 friends, and 70% of them are home service industry. So put that content in front of them, and you don't have to reach out to them. If they like your content, your video testimonial is going to speak themselves, and that's the one thing. Second, now I love home service industry. All the big players out there. I've got a great relationship. My team and I, we go out and be part of the industry events. So I speak at the events. Tommy Mello, Joe Crisetta, they have given a great path to just like present myself and my services. And I think right now that's the second thing that we're getting a lot of business from the event. Third is like always wanted to provide value from the podcast. So that was in my mind because it's a connection with my dad. That yes, I'm born in the trade and want to provide value. and it's all complete value. We never promote ourselves out there, and we're bringing, coaches, mentors, and I think that's the one that really helped. It was totally uncomfortable doing it, being on camera, podcast, but you have to push yourself to take it to the next level. You have to take yourself to the next level, and I think these three sources we are getting, decent amount of business.
I love it. So a couple takeaways there for you guys, right? I mean, a lot of us get these agency-based clients, and we want to serve them from behind the scenes, right? We want to be on Zoom and kind of leave it at that. What Mandeep did was he decided, I'll double down my personal investment in each one of these clients, traveling out to their site, spending a day, shooting videos, creating content. And again, that has multiple touch points. First of all, probably most important, is create good content for the client. Like creating content that you can use in your marketing. Second is it's creating more time and space for that client. Where now Mandeep's face to face with the client. He's seeing their operation. He's understanding their challenges. Now they've got a tight relationship with Mandeep. Then he's getting video footage he can use to tell their story for himself.
Right.
Hey, look, we helped this client. Now they're ranking here. Now these are the results they're getting, which is extremely powerful. And then just the social credibility, right? Because you're taking pictures of yourself after the site, right? And you're showing that you're doing this with the client. And so the industry is now seeing, wow, he is really invested and is getting proven results.
Right, and it's a lot. It's a lot, to be very honest. But if you do just like once a month, right? Once a month, or maybe once in a quarter, that's totally fine. It's up to you. You have to plan out like your flights, hotels, like your content, and on top of that, like your schedule. Like as the owner of the company, I'm going out with my account manager, video guy, with high-end equipment, flying drones. It's a lot, and on our dime, it's a lot. But at the end of the day, it really helps. Like your client, yourself, and you have to do behind the scenes, right? Making sure the pictures and all you're sharing with your audience right there. So it really helps. It's a lot. It's overwhelming, but at the end of the day, yeah, I think this is definitely. I love doing the most, and this makes me happy, and we are getting good results.
And I can say personally, we've did this for years at HVAC as well. And
Yeah, you did that.
it pays dividends, having those relationships and spending that extra time. As it relates to the 5,000 connections on Facebook, that you're not doing cold outreach, but you have developed all of these personal relationships, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. Was there an intentional strategy behind that, or was it just, naturally those people connected with you?
That's a great question. So intentional and non-intentional both. So initially, like I was sending out like requests to the company owners, like HVAC, plumbing, electrical, in my free time. Let's say if I'm having like coffee, and it automatically actually tells you if you are on Facebook. Let's say you're serving landscape, and you might see like connections where you can add friends, like those are like landscaping owners, HVAC owners. Automatically, Facebook is going to show you if you want to add. You can see mutual friends as well. So I did that, but now with the help of podcasts, with the help of events, they see the content. When I travel and meet everyone at the event, they just come for the selfies. They say that, man, we see you all over. Like we don't even see president of the United States. Like more, we see you. So that's like funny thing. But yes, I think it really helps putting out the content, and then they automatically send you. But in the last, like I would say 6 or 8 months, I'm getting the requests, but that's my personal. But if we talk about our Grow Nearby, we don't have a lot of engagement there, but we are producing a lot of content there. But you have to. So Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary talks about his new book is coming to trade the attention. So if you have like your audiences are there on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever they are. Let's say if any of your niche they consume a lot of emails, send out those emails like providing valuable content to them. But for me, Facebook is a platform like that has been a game changer.
Got it. So we got the clients. We went deep with them, spend the time, right? We actually get that FaceTime with the clients. Connect on Facebook and where the clients are hanging out. And you mentioned something other, like I think one of the most powerful plays you can do to make yourself magnetically attractive, which is to get involved in the industry events and associations, look for opportunities to speak. Stage time is money time, and then connect with those experts those influencers, which you've done a masterful job at. Can you talk about like how you identified the groups to participate in and how you were able to land some of those speaking opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. I would highly recommend if you agency owners, if you're looking forward to having part of these like industry events, I highly recommend reaching out to the coaches, mentors. So if I want to talk about the journey started with the events is Joe Cristera. He is the man when it comes to sales coaching, and it was I
In the
was
HVAC space, which you're in, right?
yes HVAC and other and
Right.
plumbing. And I was at the event, and we become friends at that event. And the way you have to look at it is maybe if you're running your podcast, invite them to your podcast. And again, it's all about relationship. Build those relationships, and I think the opportunities will create automatically. But you have to have those relationships with the coaches, mentors, or whoever you think in your niche. That's something going to be good, and you can maybe do the podcast, right? It's gonna be great to provide value, and then send some maybe gift baskets or whatever you want to do, just to share with them and meet with them. It's not just dollar exchange. I would say relationships over anything that really help, and that's what I would say. That's highly recommend in connecting with them. If you don't have podcasts, that's totally fine. Just maybe have in a Zoom session, or if you are at the industry event, become friends. Today in our world, we have got, so when it comes to our employees, we have got 32 employees, and we have got 6 referral partners. And there are a couple of referral partners we don't even exchange any dollar amount. They love us. They send clients our way. We love them. We send clients their way. There's no dollar amount exchange at all. But there are referral partners that you can see that guy is really part of this industry. But if you can just talk to him, and if they can just send some business your way, and there is no harm in giving them good money. I would say you have to decide whatever 10% of the deal, 20% of the deal. It all depends on you. But that is more nurtured if they are actually sending. If any mentor or coach in the industry, they are very they have got a very good reputation, and they're sending your way. They're recommending Josh Nelson. That means that's a big thing, and they're definitely going to talk to you, already pre-positioned to talk to you and learn more about your services.
Love it. Great insights there. So I think the big takeaway here, if you're listening and you're not active in the industry association, and there's events happening in your niche across the country every month, Mandeep's there, right? He's got his booth. He's looking for opportunities to speak. He's hanging out after hours. He's developing relationships with the key people, the coaches, the mentors that run these groups, and looking for joint venture opportunities, whether that's just reciprocal, hey, I like you, you like me, or whether that's a financial relationship. We know that you're basically just one joint venture away from a 7-figure agency or adding another 7 figures to your revenue. So I think when you combine all of that with your podcast, which you've done an amazing job with,
Thank you.
Born for the Trades, talk to us a little bit about the format and kind of how you get guests on that show.
Sure. So again, we started this podcast, I think in March 2023 this year, and we have got 38 episodes recorded. And what we do is we reach out again. If you have those relationship with your coaches, mentors, industry leaders, or the owners of the company, those who have taken their companies to next level, $10 million, 20, or even 2, because there are guys those who are starting their business in any niche, they want help step by step how to take their company from scratch to maybe a million, because that's their goal. And I highly recommend in getting in touch with your clients if they're okay to be on your podcast and provide value, because everyone is talking about the numbers, right? But no one talks about the journey. So we actually discuss and ask questions like, what was your journey? Like some emotional questions as well, because at the end of the day, what matters the most is the journey, right? That is missing, and people really want to hear the story. Everyone wants their story, how Josh Nelson got to this point. And if you share your story, people gonna actually connect on the podcast on different platforms, and that's how we actually reach out. And sometimes now it's like a lot of people reach out to us, they want to be on our podcast. But I would say hit your list, not just like, cold email or something. Maybe just getting on a call with them, sending a message. Is it okay if we can have you on our podcast? That will be amazing to have you. And most of them they'll say yes to it. And I highly recommend keeping it from like 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Earlier we have done like 60 minutes. But a lot of people they want to actually listen while they're driving. Short the best. I would say 30 minutes to 40 minutes is like ideal. People would listen, and our podcast is distributed on all the platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, you name it. And if you were like searching for home service podcast, I think on Apple we are coming like second or third.
Nice.
And but yeah, I think keeping it like 30 to 40 minutes, that's ideal. And planning out in advance. A lot of work is done behind the scenes. But if you have like framework, like Josh, you have like amazing framework, step by step, how to run that podcast, what kind of gear, how to run it, how to stop it, and how to publish it. Like publishing is the main thing. You have to put that content in front of your audience. So full format can go on audio platform and YouTube, but chop them into reels. Like so my video guy, he's amazing. I don't have to tell him. He automatically like thinks that this pod was like amazing that can provide more value. And he chopped like 4 reels from one episode and we publish it on like different platforms.
Love it. So using a podcast as a mechanism to do a couple things. Number one, to get relationship. Like you mentioned at the beginning, how do you align with these influencers? Well, if you've got a podcast, you bring them on and you interview them and you get to know them a little bit. That gives you a relationship because you're actually adding value to them because you're putting them out into the universe and kind of putting them up on a pedestal. But then it also helps you create content, right? That you can have long form, short form, everything in between. And then you can also feature your most successful clients, right? You can feature prospects that maybe have just done really well within the industry.
Right.
I think ideally in the growth system, you can do one webinar per month and you're going to do at least one podcast episode per month. Sounds like you're doing a lot more than that. What's your frequency with your podcast right now?
So every Wednesday, without fail, knock on the wood, we have like consistency every week. We publish our podcast on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Every Wednesday, and it's a lot of work. You have to plan out. Even if I'm traveling, I'm going anywhere, doesn't matter. If I'm traveling, I have my gear with me. If I have to do the remote podcast without my studio, so I do that, and I've done that to make sure that consistency is there. Because a lot of people now depend on they look out for your when is the next episode coming, and you don't want to disappoint them. And I made that public announcement, like I think in Jan or Feb, that we're launching our podcast in March. And I think that made me and my co-host accountable to make sure that we qualify, we hunt for all those guests, and so I think that is major accountability. Make sure that you post like every week on social media, and I think your audience will be addicted to because they're getting value from it.
100%. Is the format always an interview, or is it sometimes you teaching, or is it every time you're interviewing somebody asking a series of questions?
So we don't have any series of same questions. Every podcast has different questions. Sometimes we have read books about the speakers, about the guests, and we have done a lot of research, and we don't want to ask the repeated questions. So we come up with different questions according to the guests, according to their journey, and it's a lot of work. But you can stick to some format as well. There is no harm in that. You can ask those repeated questions, but we do a lot of
Prep work on the back end.
Yes.
So it's always an interview. It's not you teaching.
It's always.
Excellent. And so any tips, because you've got various special services where you can help convert a long form piece of content into short form. Any tips on how to chop that up, or if they want to learn more about having your remote reel service?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I highly recommend is, first of all, start now. Start doing your podcast, and like Josh said, maybe at least one webinar a month and one podcast a month. We do 4 a month. I know it's a lot, but get comfortable. Maybe start with your couple of clients and see how it works out, and then start producing long form content on all those platforms. hire maybe you can hire a virtual assistant. There are so many platforms available, like Fiverr
Hmm.
and maybe from Philippines. But I have my video guy here in the U.S. in Florida. But you can definitely take this help like from these platforms, and they can edit it for you. But you have to write step by step SOP. This is what you're looking for, so that your video guy has expectations, right? That they have to chop, let's say, 4 reels or 6 reels from that video. And I think that will be a great start. And when you said about remote reels, we are offering remote reels to home service industry and agency owners as well. If you guys are running, let's say, podcast, we can you can send the files to us, and we can convert into short form, and we can edit the full long form as well. That's what we are doing. And for the home service industry, we are doing report reels because they don't have podcasts. Or if you see the engagement versus photo versus reels are like phenomenal. Everyone is using these micro video platforms, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, and Instagram Reels, and people they want to actually watch less than 60 seconds. It has to be 30 to 60 seconds per reel.
Excellent. And where would they learn more if they want to learn more about the remote reels?
I would say grownearby.com. You guys can reach out, or I'm on like Facebook. You can reach out to me, and I'll connect you with my video guy. This is what we are doing. I want to achieve his dream. So he's doing a lot of work, and I want to achieve like, his goals, his dreams, and he's doing most of the work. And reach out to me on Facebook or grownearby.com. Would love to help, and we'll connect with my video guy.
Excellent. All right, so we talked about how you land clients. We talked a little bit about kind of the positioning work that you've done. Let's talk a little bit about the program and kind of what your service offering looks like when a plumbing HVAC home service company hires you. What does the typical program look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 4 solutions. Earlier we had like 3 solutions. Now we have like 4 solutions: scale, grow, dominate, and now we have another one, conquer. And those solutions all are very strategically designed according to the annual revenue of the home service company. So scale solution, we are not right now, we're maxed out on pay per click. So we don't offer pay per click services, and we don't offer Facebook ads. We are website and organic when it comes to LSA, website, LSA, and organic GBP, social media. That's what we do. But we have if the company is 500,000 to 1 million, we offer scale solution so that they can afford for the website and for the monthly marketing. And then we have grow. If the company is doing 1 million to 2 million, we have that growth solution. Dominant companies, those are in the range of 2 to 5 million. So we have services or organic. It's going to be good for the long term. That gives you compounding results over the time. And then Conquer is the companies which are more than 5 million. And these are the 4 solutions we have. They're more organic.
Excellent. So all organic, getting them ranked, tapping into the inbound search plus social media. Can you give us an idea of price range for these packages?
Yeah, absolutely. Our scale solution starts from 2000, and Conquer 20,500.
Okay.
2,000, 3,000, and 5,000, and 7,500.
Excellent. I like how you have it broken down by their size because it's like, hey, at this size, this is what you're going to need.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to bring to the table, and it's more expensive because there's more delivery.
Right. Yeah, more number of viewers, more content. I think we write 50 pieces of content in Conquer solution. So you can imagine the work that we have to put in to get you ranked in Google Maps and on Google platform SEO. So yeah, it
Very cool. Okay, so let's talk about retention. So you kind of grown to this 70 plus. You've got multiple seven figures in annualized revenue. What are some things you do in order to retain the clients and keep them on board? We know how tricky that can be in the home services space.
Right. That's a great question, Josh. And in agency world, a lot of things going on. You have to take care of your clients, team, different requests, campaigns, a lot of stuff going on. My main goal, like from the beginning, was to go above and beyond for our clients. And how can we do that? Like making sure that my account managers are always available, like via email, text, phone call, Zoom, and making sure that any request comes in, they fulfill it. And our each account manager, by the way, we have changed our name, account manager to CSM, client success manager, and each CSM is taking up to 25 accounts, no more than that, because if you give more accounts, let's say you have like hired one account manager and you want that person to handle like 30 to 50 accounts, it's not realistic. You gotta be realistic with the numbers, because if they go beyond 25 clients, it's a lot of requests and they're going to start dropping the balls, right? You have to make sure that you hire someone, train them pretty well with your vision that you have to go above and beyond for your clients and to get the results, and they have to be very, very strategic as well. What's working, keep doing more of it. What's not working, let's reallocate to something that is working, and always learning the best practices. So not more than 25 accounts to the CSM, and that has been a game changer, because our account managers, CSMs, they are laser focused on the like retention, results, and the bond relationship. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Excellent. Great tip there. And like kind of in your world, the account manager is managing those relationships with the clients, keeping the client engaged, limiting it to 25 so they don't get overwhelmed, so
Yes.
they don't wind up having too much going on.
Right, right. Yeah, that's something, I think worked out pretty well, like, from the beginning. Now we have 4 CSMs right now. We have hired like 2 at the same point to see like, how this is going to roll up. I was part of like industry events and want to make sure we have like a backup. And I know they are getting like accounts now, but it's okay to invest in your CSMs in advance, because you can see that this is coming, and make sure you train them pretty well and track what they're doing, and have like some pop quiz. We just started doing that, and our CSMs, they have scored pretty well. So I'm proud of all my CSMs in my team.
Very nice. And when it comes to retention, you kind of touched on all the key things, right? You've got to have a great onboarding process. Then you've got to kind of report to them on a consistent basis, make sure they understand you're there. And then you've got to build a team. And you're in that place right now where you've built that client success management team underneath you, which is fantastic. Any tips on where you find good CSMs, or kind of what's worked for you to recruit that type of role?
Yeah, absolutely. Before that, I want to add one more thing, that in every company, your interpreter, or I would say implementer, like operations is the backbone. Without operations manager, yeah, nothing is going to happen. So I'm so proud of our operations manager, and she's going above and beyond, making sure that all the departments are synced, whatever the work is being assigned gets done, so that account managers, like they don't have to worry about the fulfillment, making sure the timeline deliverables are like are met on time. That's definitely, I highly recommend investing. If you're wearing, I used to wear multiple hats, and I decided to bring one implementer. You have to hunt, you have to do a lot of interviews, you have to set the expectations. But if you get one, yeah, make sure you take care of that person. That's going to be a game changer for your agency. So yes, what was your question about CSM? How to
How you recruit those types of talented people that could step in and do a great job to retain those clients?
Sure. Number one strategy, always there on my list, and I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. So we have created all those like job descriptions for designers, developers, same for CSMs. And I want my CSMs to work and sit in my Tampa office. And we have like, created that JD job description. And you just like interview like a lot of people, ask like questions in advance, maybe a video, if they can send like, what do you call like, the initial
Video ask.
video ads, you can use that, so that you can get to know, okay, this candidate looks good, so that you can move forward with the round one. And we have like 2 rounds, and then another final will be with the leadership, and then we have like some tests, which is like Kobe index, A index, and we have like couple more index, like I think we follow. But this is the like step by step LinkedIn. Huge fan of LinkedIn. You can spend, I think, $50 to $60 per day. Let's say if you are in Michigan, Tampa, wherever, it's worth it. You can run for 5 days and you have like 100 applications out there, and then you can screen them. And it's definitely a game changer, LinkedIn, and for other roles as well.
Excellent. So some good tips there on how to attract account managers. You talked a little bit about scale, and I think this is important. You know, you've gone to multiple seven figures. You're doing a great job for the clients. Um, how did you think about the growth of the team? You mentioned that first role being that operations implementer. Kind of what has the scale of the operation look like for you, and what positions did you hire in what order?
So yeah, that's again an amazing question. I would say it's going to really help other agency owners. When I started, I had like one designer, one developer, and I would say like a couple of team members in SEO team, and we used to outsource content to the US writers. That's how I started. And then once you start getting more clients, you have to think about it. You cannot do all that work. And I think a lot of agencies they think they can run pay-per-click ad, they can do social media posts, but it's a lot. You won't be able to focus on scaling your business to the next level, and then you get stuck. Let's say if any client leaves, and then it's going to be very challenging to bring another one and do the fulfillment by your own. I highly recommend investing in resources from day one and just scale it. If you think that you're getting like maybe 5 or 6 clients in the 1 month or 2 months, plan in advance that you need another designer, you need another developer. The one thing that we had a lot of challenges with the PM, project manager, and now we have got amazing project manager that is like good with the numbers, with the timelines, how many days it's going to take to knock this project, and what how many designers it's going to take to complete these projects, how many developers. So it's all about math. You have, and this guy is PMP certified, project management professional, and you have to look for those people so that you don't have to dig into what's going on because they know how it works and they know how to manage the team. But start investing in the resources if you see that new business is coming. So keep adding those resources.
I think it's critical what he said there. You know, oftentimes as the agency, we think, you know what, I can do the website, I can do the
Yeah.
pay-per-click, I can do the Facebook. Um, and to really grow and scale to multiple seven figures in the time that someone like Mandeep has, you can't think of yourself as the web person, right? You got to take off that web person hat and be the executive, the CEO in the business. And Mandeep's done a great job with this in that he figured out, okay, who do I need that can do this? Starting with that project manager and then getting those positions filled. And so not only is Mandeep not writing the content or doing the SEO optimization, he's not managing that process either. He's got a project manager that's great at that he's placed in that role. Now, of course, he's bottom line responsible at the top to make sure it all gets done well. But Mandeep's not even managing it, right? And to grow and scale your agency, take yourself out of operations, then take yourself out of account management, then take yourself out of sales. Are you still selling on the phone, or do you have a sales team as well?
I have one salesperson,
Nice.
and she's amazing. And what I do is I get on strategy sessions still, because that's the part that I love the most. And if I don't do that, what I'm gonna do? So I feel like I love creating roadmaps. And right now we have done so many roadmaps, like digital marketing roadmap for 2024 in advance. And my salesperson, she runs discovery calls and making sure that you land good clients. When I say good clients, means they have to match your life, like so that we can work together, they can collaborate. If you land any client and all your team is just focusing on that project, it's a nightmare. And we do PETA score. Can I talk about that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So earlier I used to call it mindset qualifier while doing the discovery calls and strategy sessions. Now we do PETA scores. I don't know if you guys know about PETA, but yeah, pain in the ass scores. We do that, and if any prospect is out of two out of two from five, we don't want to work together because a lot of issues can come that I think we have seen in the past. You have to make sure that they collaborate, they listen to your ideas, recommendations, and they are patient. If they are not, yeah, because you can't have results overnight. A lot of work goes into websites. Josh, like creating, designing, development, content, and then SEO kicks in after once we launch the website. So it's a lot of work. You have to make sure that you qualify your clients where they can collaborate and they have trust in you that you will deliver the results, and make sure that you have case studies, video testimonials to showcase. So I highly recommend doing that. Yeah.
So what he said, there's like a hidden trick here, right? On your when you're growing and scaling your agency, you get to choose who you work with,
Yes.
right? And client selection will make or break your agency, right? Because if
Right.
you're taking PETA clients, they're less than $500,000, they're a pain in the neck, they have these crazy expectations, they're not willing to invest in their marketing, and you build your business with PETA clients, you're going to fail, right? You're going to have clients that are constantly churning. Your account managers are going to get burned out. They're going to want to quit. And so really smart on your end to say, hey, look, this is the minimum threshold. We're going to be at least a 3 or higher on our PETA scale. And that's the kind of client that's going to appreciate you, that's going to stay long term, that's going to refer you to others,
Right.
that will be a testimonial for you, that your client account managers can have great relationships with and not be like, I can't stand the people we've got to work with here. And so be intentional with who you let be a client.
Right. Yeah, you have to be intentional about it, because otherwise your account managers, your team, everyone is gonna suffer the most, and it's not worth it. It's always good to qualify in advance and ask those questions. And if you want, I can share it, but it's in my head, it's in my sales. She is running those discovery calls. She knows now, what questions we have to ask. And sometimes, you can't figure out on the discovery call that maybe they can just say yes, they want to work with us. But you gotta qualify. Once you spend 1 hour, 1.5 on the strategy session, you get to know about your prospects more into deeper by asking a lot of micro questions, and then you can qualify. Maybe you might not qualify on the first discovery call. That's another tip that I would like to share. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. I like that you use the industry vernacular well. So in the industry, in plumbing HVAC, what do they call the person that answers the phone? CSR.
CSR.
Right? And so
Yeah.
you've called your account managers client success managers or client success representatives to kind of use that same lingo.
Yes, they're exactly using the same lingo, and you have to dial in, and you have to give that experience, like world class experience. Josh, you always talk about, when you onboard any client, give them world class experience, for the next 2 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks, give them all those updates, making sure your account managers are giving those updates. Though if there is no call scheduled, just sending maybe emails, your local listings are done, content is done, design is ready for. So all these things matter, and I think people buy from emotions, right? And they want to see how your company is connected, and are you really understanding what is their goal? Not just saying okay, give me $5,000 and we're gonna make it happen for you. But what's the strategy? Understand the goals. If they have any of your niche, any client has done 2 million. This if they're facing 2 million, ask them what's their goal in 2024 for the next 12 months. They might say 10 million. That's not realistic. So just ask those questions. What's your realistic goal? So 2.5, I would say, yeah, that's doable. What are the strategies that are involved? And then you have your packages, we call it solutions. Then you can say grow solution is perfect, but dominate is perfect because you're pacing 2 million right now. You should do dominate solution because that has more activities, SEO keywords, content, social media. That's how you're gonna achieve your 2.5 million goals. And I think that's really, really important to be very, very strategic when you talk to your prospect and understand the data and ask those related questions.
Love it. Great, great stuff. So we talked about why you chose the niche. We talked about how you positioned yourself to get clients to come to you. We talked about your program, kind of how you scaled the team, the operation. If you have one last piece of wisdom for that agency owner, regardless of where they're at, they're at $500,000 per year, but they're trying to get to the next level. What would that piece of wisdom be?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say number one will be I'm always about your vibe attracts your tribe. Be part of the group, be part of the community, and it's not just you're just getting the information and you're just going to just go through the content, implement. You have amazing people, and I'm so proud to be part of Josh, and I'm grateful, from the beginning when I met you at the roadmap. and there is a lot of content. Sometimes it's very difficult, but in your A players, they can learn about what content is planned out by Josh to take your company to the next level and be part of the group, like-minded people. I still have my friends, and I've got amazing friends from Seven Figure Agency. So many. So I don't want to name it, but
Don't want to leave anybody out, right?
yeah, so many. But you learn a lot. You hang out. I come like 3 times a year. I try to. I miss last one, but definitely not going to miss next intensive, which is happening here in Miami, and hang out with the like-minded people where they are in their agency, what kind of strategies they're doing, and they are ready to help each other, and that's the help. Chris Rodriguez from Tampa, Tony, and I visited their office with my A players, and we got a lot of stuff that we were struggling with, and these guys have helped us, and that's what you get from this kind of community. Be part of that seven-figure agency for sure. Josh Nelson is a great human being.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, congratulations on your success. Thanks for traveling to Miami to be part of this. If they want to connect with you and kind of connect and get to know you better, what would be the best way?
Yeah, absolutely. You can connect on Facebook, Mandeep Bhalla, or you can reach out to me, mandeep@grownearby.com. And I would say that's the best platform. And I would love to help you guys with the media plan that we go out and what we do, and any strategy like media, like I would say video content. Start producing content today. You know, be real, be authentic. And I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but once you do 5, 7, 10 videos, it's a game changer. And start producing content today, especially video content.
Awesome. Well, great stuff, Mandeep. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for listening. If you've got follow-up questions, post them in the chat here. Mandeep and I will do our best to answer them as we get them. And be sure to tune in for the next episode of the Seven Figure Agency podcast.
Thank you.